If you're interested in web hosting and developing and building your own website, you might have heard of Siteground. Back when web hosting was really starting to kick off, Siteground was really leading the charge. It was the best and most developer-friendly hosting service around. But since then, a lot of other competitors have popped up and a lot of things have changed. Siteground has been updated and there's been some talk that it might not be as good as it once was. So with those rumors spreading, we decided to dig into Siteground with the intention of giving you a complete picture of how Siteground operates today, as well as any of the features that might be available with it, or any of the downsides as well, and hopefully help you decide if Siteground is right for your particular situation. I'll also include links to Siteground down in the description below, along with any deals or discounts that might not be available on their website, so feel free to take advantage of that if you like. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So let's start out with talking about Siteground plans. To begin with, there are 3 plans available. There's the basic plan, which is called Startup, and that supports one website while the other 2 support unlimited websites. That will come with 10 gigs of SSD storage and enough bandwidth to support around 10,000 monthly visitors. Your next 2 plans are Grow Big or Go Geek. With Grow Big, you can have 25,000 visitors, 20 gigs of space, unlimited websites hosted, and unmetered data transfer. With the largest plan, Go Geek, you can get 100,000 daily visits, 40 gigs of space, unlimited websites hosted, and unmetered data transfer. One thing to note with all of these, if you're inexperienced in creating a website, they do come with a free drag-and-drop Weebly site builder. Also, all the plans are based on NGINX web server technology, and that's one of the most advanced and powerful options that's actually available today. So already, that's going to set Siteground above some of the other competitors on the market. Now, if you're familiar with website hosting, then you've probably heard of cPanel, and that's the control panel that many of these web hosting sites use. Well, Siteground has actually opted to move away from cPanel, and they've instead developed their own panel called Site Tools. So what does that mean for you? Well, you're not going to get Softaculous Auto Installer, and that means that you also won't get its handy library of one-click scripts for hundreds of content management systems. But you do get Siteground's App Manager, and that supports 18 CMS installations, but you will need to install that manually. Now, obviously things like WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal are supported, but if you are interested in things like Laravel or Symfony frameworks, they can only be installed manually. But again, if WordPress is your go-to, then you're all set here. So if you're a WordPress user and you're used to using Softaculous to create a staged version of your website, which you can try out changes that don't affect the live site, Siteground does give you that option, but it's not included in the basic plan. So if you are interested, then you might want to increase your plan to take advantage of that feature. Now, obviously, security is going to be a big thing with your website. You want to make sure that all of your users' data is completely safe. And so just so you know, it does have some basic security tools such as WAF, that's the Web Application Firewall, and a proprietary monitoring system included in all plans by default. So as far as security is concerned, you're not going to have to worry in that department. Also, you may or may not be surprised to hear that Git, which is a popular development tool that most cPanel hosts offer, is not going to be included in the basic Siteground plan. And also, again, where security is concerned, SSL certificates will be available with every plan, and that's going to be very important, again, to make sure that all of your users' data is safe, but you do have to make sure that you activate it. Siteground's SSL manager is very easy, so you shouldn't run into too many problems there. Now, if you are developing a site, you want to make sure that you have good backups, just in case anything goes wrong with your website and you need to reboot it back to an earlier version. So just so you know, Siteground automatically backs up the entire system every day, and it keeps your backups for at least 30 days. There's a lot of hosts that don't provide this feature, so it's very nice to have. Siteground does also come with a Super Cacher performance booster, and this is going to be crucial for your website. It actually creates copies of your site, and instead of rebuilding each and every page for each visitor, it actually sends them the cached versions. So that's going to take a huge load off your server, making your website faster and smoother. So that is going to be included in all plans, but when it comes to the basic plan, they do limit the power options. So you're going to get some basic caching, but if you want the full experience, then you will have to upgrade. One great feature that might be important to you if you already have a website built is it does have automatic website migration. So you can actually take a website that you've hosted elsewhere and transfer it over to Siteground, no problems. All you have to do is install a simple plugin on your current website and then enter the generated token in the Siteground panel. Now that's all well and good, but this also depends on the complexity of the website that you're transferring. So if it's very complex, you have a ton of plugins and custom add-ons, you might get some problems transferring it over with a lack of compatibility in those certain add-ons. Again, if you want, you can pay extra for that professional migration and have Siteground experts take care of everything for you. It's great that they do have that option, but again, you're going to be paying more for it. So if you stuck with me this long, just a bit of a summary here. If you are just interested in basic website building, their basic website plan is going to be a good option for you, but it's one of the most basic of the basic plans that we've reviewed across our web hosting sites. Now with these additional packages, you are going to get a ton more features and a lot better performance, but again, you are going to pay more for them. Now moving on, as I mentioned, that Siteground does have their own control panel. And truly, this self-developed control panel is one of the best that we've used. It's incredibly user-friendly, it's very sleek, smooth, it's visually appealing, modern looking, and it's going to be an incredibly useful tool for you building your website. Now, if you are truly considering Siteground and you're trying to choose which plan might be right for you, Siteground is very, very transparent about what each plan offers. And that's something you don't see a lot on web hosting platforms. They are very honest about the differences between each plan and what the higher tier plans can offer you. Now, in terms of the signup itself, it can get a little frustrating and a little complicated. It's definitely not the most user-friendly experience. One thing that we noticed is they do ask for a ton of personal details, which you don't often have to provide with other hosting sites. For instance, you're even asked to verify your phone number, which I found extremely strange. You'll also have to authorize them to do a small charge on your credit card account as part of the verification process. But I will say that even though it was a little daunting and a little frustrating, once it's over and you have access to Siteground's full features, it is actually a great user experience. Like I said, their interface is incredibly user-friendly. Everything from installing SSL certificates to restoring backups, it can all be done through this interface. It has super clear tab names such as security, speed, and WordPress, and you'll be able to navigate through it with ease in no time. Also, if you are a beginner in terms of building your own website, then you might want to look into Siteground's proprietary WordPress starter plugin, and that actually walks you through the process of choosing a theme for your site and getting everything set up. It also includes a lot of well-known WordPress plugins like Yoast SEO, Jetpack, WP Forms, and tons of others. Now, obviously, performance is going to be a big issue here. You want to make sure that your website is both fast and that uptime is great. And I will say that overall, Siteground does have fairly good uptime, but it's definitely not as fast as it used to be. On average, you're going to get a loading time of about 2.02 seconds, with 1.4 seconds being the fastest we were able to get, and 2.5 seconds being the slowest. And just in comparison to some other sites out there, Hostinger gets an average of 1.56 seconds, Kinsta is about 1.2, A2 Hosting is about 1.3, so again, that's significantly slower than some of those other web hosting sites out there. And some of these other faster platforms are actually cheaper. Now, of course, this also depends on what you're putting on your website and how much load is on the server. So if it is a bigger, heavier website, then chances are you could get load times over that 3-second mark. And that's where your visitors are really going to notice and really decide they have no use for your website. Now, in terms of uptime, meaning how often the website was available, Siteground actually does really well here with a 99.997% uptime, and that's measured over 3 months. And honestly, that's a fantastic number. It means that your website is going to be up almost 100% of the time. Now, in terms of support, the support that's available for Siteground is actually very good. You're just going to have to wait for it. They're a little bit difficult to get a hold of, and you might be waiting a long time. Once you do get a hold of them, they're super helpful, professional, knowledgeable, and very happy to help you, but it's very, very difficult to reach them. It says that their chat is 24/7 and that you can connect through phone or live chat or tickets, but filling out one of these tickets can be tricky. Your inquiry will often get flagged with an error that says it's not detailed enough, and I wasn't really sure what else I needed to add here. So just to complete that took a while, and then the average wait time for an agent was another 30 minutes. All in all, to get through the ticketing process and actually speak to an agent, it took about an hour. Now, like I said, once I finally contacted somebody, they were great, but that hour is way too long to wait to get simple answers to questions, and you might be better off just using Google. Now, in terms of pricing, Siteground has always been on the more expensive side. The problem here is the renewal prices can be up to a whopping 3 times higher than the initial price. So this actually makes Siteground one of the most expensive hosting options available. And that's on par with premium services. And this is just the basic plan that I'm talking about. For those more expensive ones, the price skyrockets. Now, they do offer a 1-month trial, but you will pay an extra setup fee equal to a few months worth of web hosting. And if you do continue to use it after that first month, you have to sign up for a full 12 months, and you will not get your setup fee back. So if you are looking to test the waters, I would definitely avoid that free trial. Now, Siteground does accept credit cards and PayPal, but to use PayPal, you'll have to specifically request it from support, and again, you'll have to manually generate a PayPal payment request every month. So with all that said, the bottom line here is Siteground does have some performance issues, And if your needs for web hosting are extremely complex, it might not be the best option for you. But for the basic website builder, it has an excellent user experience, and that could make it worth the money alone for you, especially if you're a little bit more inexperienced and maybe this is your first time hosting a website. Just keep in mind that support can be difficult to reach, so you will need to have some patience, but when you do finally get in touch with somebody, they're going to be incredibly helpful in getting you back on track. Also, keep in mind the price point here. If you're somebody that's okay paying a premium price for this product, then maybe this is a great fit for you, but again, that's going to depend on your particular situation. Anyway, guys, I hope this Siteground review was helpful for you. If so, please leave a thumbs up. That would be really appreciated. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know down in the comment section. Also, again, I'll put the link to Siteground down in the description below, and I'll include any of the best deals and discounts that I find that might not be available on their website. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.